McDonald's McChickens have more fat than protein in them, and if you look at the ingredients on McDonald's website, man, is it a long list of ingredients. It's scary. It doesn't look good. These McChickens not only are bigger than McDonald's, they're lower calorie, they have 1/7 the amount of fat, and they have more than double the amount of protein, and they're thicker. Thicker McChickens. And the magical breading technique we're gonna use to get these super crispy in the oven without deep frying at home is these. Tiny little squares, rice checks. These little rice check squares are airy and bready, and they're gonna make these chicken sandwiches so crispy. Blender. Fill it up and pop the lid on. We need 60 grams. We're gonna use a little bit more because some of it's not gonna make it onto the chicken. And let's give it a whiz. It's gonna need a little shaking. And let's dump it in a bowl. Add a tiny sprinkling of turmeric powder to it and a small sprinkling of paprika. I'm using smoked because smoked paprika is just the best. And mix this up. This one decided it was gonna stay alive. Look how crispy these are. Perfect. Wondering what's inside this? Chicken breast. A lot of juices because I had to defrost this thing from the freezer. You're gonna need 600 grams of chicken breast. You can use ground chicken if you want to, but I had frozen chicken breast and I wanted to use them for this recipe. These are overgrown. Look how big this chicken breast is. What are they feeding chickens these days? Maybe McChickens? Cutting board, breast. And just go at it. And when you're mincing with a knife, if you hit the chicken enough times with a sharp knife, it will turn into ground chicken. Look at that. Now that looks like ground chicken to me, and if it doesn't look like ground chicken to you, you're hallucinating. I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna blend it. Put the chicken breast in a blender. You gotta give it a quick shake once in a while, because all the blended stuff stays at the bottom and the big chunks stay at the top, so you wanna just mix that up. Remember, we're not trying to make a chicken smoothie, we're trying to make ground chicken. So you don't wanna overblend, you wanna pulse blend, like this. Keep going. And now that we have 600 grams of ground minced chicken, let's season the chicken with a bunch of garlic powder first. A little bit of cayenne. We're not making spicy McChicken, so we don't need too much, but if you want me to make actual spicy McChickens, let me know in the comments. A little bit of turmeric and paprika. We want that red color. And the last thing is a big pinch of salt. We need these salty. McDonald's makes their McChickens really salty, and we need to match that. We want this as salty as possible without tasting too salty, because McDonald's tastes, too salty. And then the last thing to keep these super juicy is yellow mustard. And then we just mix all of this up. Back when I was a kid, McChickens used to be on the dollar menu. I remember last time I checked, McChickens were taking off of the dollar menu, and that's kind of crazy. I felt like McChickens were the staple of $1 foods. There's not that many of those out there anymore. Protein bars have gotten really expensive. Even protein bars are like $3 for a little bar. I made a 74-cent protein bar video. Check that out. I'll link it somewhere. These tongs are not cutting it. Sometimes your hands are the best things to mix chicken. I've divided the McChickens into 6 balls. Take your McChicken ball. Why do I keep saying McChicken? Take your ball of ground chicken, flatten it out, just dip it in your breadcrumbs, dip both sides like that, pick it up, flatten it, shape it into a circle, and there we go. That is one coated McChicken. Put it on a baking sheet with some foil, rinse and repeat. You can really get in there. Just take that ball and toss it in your rice checks and just pat. Then take it and flip and pat again. And the more rice checks that coat it, and there's plenty of rice checks. I'm telling you, 60 grams goes a long way in getting these real crispy. It's completely coated in rice checks, and now you can pat it down and form it into a circle. And perfect. These are behemoths. They are huge compared to McChickens. Give all 6 of them a good spray with any oil spray. I'm using olive oil. And bake these 400 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. Flip halfway through. And spray the other side with a little bit of oil spray when you do flip. I'm gonna bake not on the toppest rack, but towards the top. I forgot something really important. Take it out real quick, 1 sec. Whoops. This should take only a second. Black pepper, guys, black pepper on each patty. Have you seen McChickens? They have so much pepper on them. And back in the oven they go. There are 4 components to McChicken. We've already tackled the chicken part, which is baking in the oven. Let's talk about the other 3. The first one is lettuce. You gotta be using the shredded lettuce or the romaine lettuce. You can't be using no butter lettuce or fancy lettuce for this. Do you think McDonald's cares even the slightest amount of how they're chopping your lettuce? Absolutely not. So just chop it, whack at it with a knife like they do. And if you have some big pieces like this, well, pop. Second component is Greek yogurt. Instead of mayo, because we're not doing that, way too much fat. I used to dip fries in mayo when I was a kid. I just didn't use ketchup. I mean, no wonder I was really fat. But, I mean, store-bought mayos, if you look at the ingredients, there's always a little bit of sugar in them, and they're very tangy. So, first for the tanginess, we're gonna use a little splash of white vinegar, regular white vinegar. And then we're gonna go in with a little tiny splash of sugar-free maple syrup. And you have to whip this up really, really well. Quick taste. I can't even tell that's not mayo, except I know it's not mayo because I can taste a little bit of sugar-free syrup in there, but it's okay. Compromises for calories, okay, guys? And then the last component, hamburger buns. I'm using 110 calories per bun. Regular white hamburger buns. You don't need no brioche bun. That's just gonna add a whole bunch of calories because each brioche bun is stuffed with a stick of butter. Regular buns. I'm waiting for the McChickens to finish baking, and I'm slipping. It's mayo, okay? Close your eyes, it's mayo. Throw the buns in there to toast them. You could also do this on a pan, but I'm just tossing them in there. Let the residual heat of the oven toast the buns because the oven is already turned off right now and the patties are resting. Oh, did someone say crispy? Buns toasted. Crispy patty goes on first. Then some lettuce. And then you take 15 grams of sauce and spread it on the top bun. And then you plop that on. Something I really like to do, which I really recommend, is take a small sprinkle of salt and put it right on top of the patties as soon as you put the patties on. This is gonna make them taste extra divine. I don't know what word to use, okay? It just, that salty, crispy outside, it's too good, okay? It's too good. The calories and macros for each McChicken will be on the screen right now. It's 170 amount of fat as McDonald's. It's more than double the amount of protein. It's lower calorie, it's thicker. 261 calories, 30 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat. So you can diet on McChickens, feel optimal afterwards because you're not bogged down by the amount of fat and the amount of cat food, may I say, in them. And you got them for the whole week. Check out my cookbook, link in the description. Over 100 recipes that helped me lose over 100 pounds. So easy to enjoy your diet, lose weight, and get fit and stay fit effortlessly if you're eating good and you're eating out of the cookbook. McDonald's, we're coming for you. Go make yourself some McChickens for the week. And if you want to meal prep them, just toss them in meal prep containers and in the fridge. That was the saddest squeeze of sriracha I've ever seen. Alright, do this one.
This one's watery, bro.
No. Do a smiley face. Oh my god.